Am I the asshole for banning my friend from my home after she refused to take videos of my bird down? 2 years ago I adopted an African gray parrot who had suffered neglect. It took me a long time to get her to trust me, and now she is the most loving bird in the world. In my totally unbiased opinion. She is very popular with my friends and loves the attention and company, as African greys are incredibly intelligent and need constant stimulation. One of her favorite things is to sing along her favorite Disney songs, a thing I indulge whenever she indicates she wants it on. It recently came to my attention my friend had filmed some of these sing-alongs and uploaded it to her YouTube without my knowledge or permission. I found out as I went looking on my friend's YouTube for an old video of a night out with a friend who had passed that I was missing, so imagine my surprise when I found 6 videos of my girl singing. This made me uncomfortable as it felt like she was exploiting her for views, which after her previous neglect and how long it took me to win her trust did not sit well with me. I confronted my friend about this and she told me it was harmless and it was nice to share cute moment and document it for the future. I told her if that was the reason she'd done this she'd have not hidden it from me. I asked her to delete the videos and she refused, so I told her I didn't want her back in my house until she took the videos down, as I didn't trust her to not try and get more videos. She thinks I'm being unreasonable as it doesn't hurt my bird and it's not like she's a child who she is putting on the internet for views. Maybe I was too hard on my friend, but the whole situation feels gross. She is refusing to remove the videos still and has told our friends that I'm being ridiculous. Most agree with me that it's incredibly weird she uploaded the videos without my knowledge, but a couple think I'm being too harsh as it's just a bird. Could I have handled this better? Am I reacting too strong? The bird has no conception of being put online or being exploited. The way you think about this bird is kind of unhinged. What you should be uncomfortable about is people filming in your house without your permission, not some weird notion that the bird is being exploited and having her trust violated. I'm gonna go against the grain here and say you need to be more reasonable. If my friends filmed my pet, I wouldn't expect them to ask first. I don't think animals have a reasonable expectation of privacy, regardless of their past. They don't understand being filmed, nor will they face any consequences for being on the internet. If she's your friend, you should be assuming the best of her. I doubt she did this with bad intentions or sneakily. It sounds more like she just didn't think to ask because she didn't think it would be a problem. Reddit is so cooked, bro, holy fuck. You're massively overreacting and confabulating your parrot's previous abuse with this, and your friend is clearly one of these vacuous morons who puts every detail of her doubtlessly beige life on the net for validation. Not the asshole. I don't care if it's a bird, your child, or a totally radical new paint job in your living room. Nobody should be recording in your house with your knowledge or consent, and absolutely not posting any of it online. You are the asshole for saying she's exploiting your bird. She's not. It's a cute bird video. Your attitude toward the bird is a little much. Am I the asshole for refusing to call me friend by her new name, Queen? A friend, 25F, socially changed her name from the name her mom gave her, to a name she chose for herself. She is cisgender, BTW. Her name change is due to her wanting to reinvent herself. And her new name, Queen, reflects how she thinks of herself and how she wants others to see her. Her social media usernames and profiles reflect her new name, and people she's met in the past few years call her by the name she's introduced herself as. I'd be glad to support her in the autonomy she seeks by naming herself. But my issue is that she wants everyone to call her Queen. Within the friend group I notice that sometimes her old friends slip up and call her by her given name. But you can see that it doesn't sit well with her, and that being dead named bothers her. Sometimes she'll politely correct, but not within larger groups. Sometimes her friends self-correct and call her Queen. Since Queen and King are used as terms of praise, reverence, and endearment, I am very hesitant to call this person Queen. I simply don't feel that way about her. It just doesn't feel like a name to me. It feels more like a title. I don't feel right calling my peer Queen. If she were to change her name to a name that means queen, like Reina, I wouldn't experience any unease with calling her such. I avoid using any name to refer to her. If I do use a name, I try to say Queen, but if I'm not in a good mood or if I'm annoyed with her, I don't bring myself to say it. I asked if I can call her Q, and she said no, my name is Queen. Perhaps I would feel differently if it were a stage name. Perhaps I would feel differently if she weren't also a little self-centered. I'm gonna get downvoted for this, but not the asshole. Changing one's own name to Queen or King, or anything else that obviously signals one's belief in their own superiority over other people, and then demanding that people address you by that name is an inherently asshole move. It's so gross, and absolutely reeks of narcissism. If any of my friends ever did this, I would honestly be so turned off by it that I would most likely stop being friends with them. Blech. My own issues with valorizing the concept of royalty aside, fuck monarchs. Seriously, if you want people to call you Queen, Work to earn that and let other people give you the title as a sign of respect. You know what's funny? I know people named Princess, Queenie, Harmony, Angel, etc. Shout out to the Black and Filipino communities LMAOO. And I have no issue calling them by their names, but thought of someone changing their name to Queen would bug me a bit. Which I know is a me problem, and would be something I would work through because who am I to say that their name is not their name? I think this is something you need to either figure out or realize will end the friendship, as she has every right to feel disrespected, but despite knowing better I also have that gut reaction of, don't want to do that. What if the friend had chosen the new name God? Would everyone be expected to call her God? Nah, I can see where you are coming from, but I can't rightly call this person an asshole for wanting a name they feel a connection to as a statement. I also think it's an odd choice and would have difficulty with it. You are the asshole, stop pretending to be friends with her and you won't have to use her new name. It doesn't sound like you like her much, anyways. And perhaps her new name gives you a reason to stop being around her. If you do engage with her, you should use her name, whether you like it or not. Wow, everyone is a special little snowflake again. WTF. Of course you are not in the wrong in not using a socially changed name that's meant to overinflate someone's ego. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my husband any more gifts? I, 35 female, have been with my husband James, 39 male, for 12 years, and we have this argument like clockwork every single birthday and Christmas, but I've had enough. I hate surprises, and I hate surprise gifts even more because I lived in clutter with my parents, and being forced to keep a present to not offend someone bothers me because then I grapple with frustration, guilt, and general annoyance because now there's a thing taking up space that I don't know what to do with. James, on the other hand, loves surprise gifts, but he is super picky. He does this thing where he will tell someone, oh, I'm alright with anything. But when he gets that anything, he will make some remark about how he actually wanted XYZ. Which dampens the mood and makes him sound so childishly ungrateful. It drives me mad because the most hypocritical thing is that if I do that to him, i.e., say, oh I actually wanted XYZ, he'll get upset and say that I should be grateful, e.g., he bought me a dress he thought I'd like for my birthday, despite me telling him over and over and over and over and over again how much I would have liked a specific pair of earrings. I gave a weak thanks and he was sulky all evening, especially when my friends bought me something else off my wish list and I was so happy. And it's not about the price either, because the things he surprises me with are always either more expensive or around the same price as what I actually asked for. Now, I've tried my hardest to figure out what he'd like, but I always somehow miss the mark. For instance, one year I managed to force him to tell me that he'd like any, keyword there, Apple product, but when I got him a new iPad to replace his old one, he said that he'd actually prefer AirPods. I returned the iPad and he got upset. Another year, he told me he wanted jogging socks from a specific brand, but when he got them, he said that he actually wanted another variant of it. Another year, he kept talking about a specific type of wallet for 6 months straight, sending me posts about it, reviews, whatever, and I got it for him, thinking I've cracked the code. You know what he said? If you guessed, actually, I wanted something else, then you were absolutely correct. Rinse and repeat. This year, I tried to ask him again to at least give me a hint to work with, and he playfully told me to surprise him. Years of pent-up frustration got the best of me and I told him that he's an ungrateful child and I will not be surprising him. If he wasn't going to tell me, then he gets nothing. I also told him to stop surprising me with stuff I don't even want, because he's a hypocrite whose feelings will get hurt if I don't fall to my knees thanking him. I exaggerate, for something I don't want. I'm done coddling him over gifts because it's stupid and causing undue stress to me. As per the usual, he's gone off to sulk, and I feel terrible for lashing out at him. Am I the asshole? Give him cash. Info. Have you two talked about this? So you've been married for over a decade, have had this pattern repeat over and over and over. You have very clear reasons why you don't want surprises, he has them for wanting them, and yet somehow, you haven't worked it out? Either you always play good weather and never told him how you felt about gifts, or asked him straight up. I'm not talking hinting at what you want, I'm saying sitting down and discussing the whole concept of gift giving, why it stresses you out, why you feel like he's disappointing you and why you feel like you're disappointing him. And try to find an adult solution. Or, you did have this conversation and he's a massive ass. Not the asshole. I'd love to know what his deal is because this makes no sense. Not the asshole. I hate how Reddit usually misuses this word, but telling you he wants one thing and then saying, I didn't want that. When you get it is actual gaslighting and is an abuse tactic. It might not be that he's deliberately trying to manipulate you and that he's just extremely immature and inconsistent in his wishes, but that doesn't really make it any better. There are ways to try to get to the bottom of it and try to reach some sort of compromise, but quite honestly I'm not expecting them to be fruitful. This is extremely unlikely to get better give his age and how long you've been together. Not the asshole. He sounds absolutely exhausting. I am going to go with not the asshole. I imagine years of trying to make him happy when he leads you with what he wants, simply to pull the football like Lucy, is maddening. Not even sure what the endgame of that is. Am I the asshole backing out of all social events because one person I don't like is there? Throwaway for privacy. I need a truly impartial judgment because everyone I've asked has some skin in the game and is mixed on view. 25F. Don't like this girl Ellie, 28F. I also work with her, at one of my 2 jobs, important for later. I think she's annoying, way too performative, and I've also caught her telling random lies to our coworkers. I don't like being around her and only interact with her at work if I have to. Me and my group of friends were out at a bar a few months ago and Ellie coincidentally was there. She walked over to me to say hi and is now part of my friendship group. All of my friends know how I feel about her, have heard her crazy behavior at work and why I don't like to be around her. However, the majority of them like her. We're a group of 9, and she's been embraced. Ellie is a part of our group chat. Most of the time when we make plans, she comes too. I brushed it off the first couple of times, but now I've decided not to go to anything where she's also coming. Because I work 2 jobs, I only have 1 day off a week, fortnight. It varies depending on shift patterns. I really value that time and decided I don't want to waste it being around someone I don't like. I've never tried to play the hand of me being in the group first or issuing an ultimatum to pick one of us. I just decline and sit at home. As a result, I see my friends about once a month instead of a few times a week, after work when I have energy or on my day off, because I don't want to see Ellie for 8 hours where I can't stand her and then proceed to be in her presence for the rest of my evening. Everyone in the friend group has picked up on it and constantly invite me to plans where Ellie is also attending, but I keep my stance firm and decline. My 2 friends who like her the most, Grace and Jess, are calling me childish and say I'm forcing them to choose between us, but I insist I'm not and I'm happy staying at home. I really am. I can't stand Ellie. They keep calling me to change my mind, even created a separate chat to talk about it, but I don't budge and they think I'm being an asshole about it and I should just be a bigger person and go anyway. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but maybe you're not explaining it well enough for them to understand. Try something like this. Sorry, but if you had just spent 8 hours working with someone you don't really care for, would you like to then go out after work and spend another several hours with them? I don't get a day off from my 2 jobs very often, so it feels good to stay home and relax and totally get away from work. ETA. You could always select a few of your friends to invite over or to go hang out with. You don't always have to be with all 9 of them, do you? I'm in a similar situation, unfortunately. You're not the asshole, but I must warn you. You will lose everyone in your friend group because of this. They will eventually stop inviting you out, and will forget all about you. Out of sight, out of mind. You may be okay with this now, but it will inevitably make you bitter and resentful. You don't have an Ellie problem, you've already dealt with that effectively. You have a Grace and Jess problem. It's time to start calling them out on it and making them feel uncomfortable for pushing your boundaries. This isn't about making you choose between us. I've already told you it doesn't bother me to stay home. It sounds like you're the ones with the problem right now. I've made my desire clear, so I would appreciate you not pushing my boundaries. Our relationship is none of your business. Any further discussion about this, you should refer back to that conversation. As per what I've already told you, please stop trying to meddle in my personal autonomy. If they don't get the hint, it may be time to consider putting distance between you and them, too. Info: why do you have to hang out as a group? Why can't you catch up with people one-on-one, or in smaller groups? Not the asshole. I've had a coworker before that would do similar shit, fake, tell lies, just unbearable to be around. Only plus was everyone else hated them too. And if they became part of my circle, I'd definitely show up to less things. If people want to be mad, then they can be mad. Some people just don't click, and that's fine. I totally agree. Why should you spend your limited free time around someone you don't like? If your friends really miss you that much, they can ask you on a smaller coffee date. You don't always have to hang out in a giant group. Not the asshole. Sounds like they knew exactly how you felt about Ellie and still let her in. They've already chosen her over you. Sorry, cut them loose and live drama free.